Hi everybody, and welcome to video number 29 in my EFT series. And this video is about boosting our immunity, especially during the current times when we are all dealing with the COVID-19 and there is a lot of panic, a lot of anxiety. So I thought this might just be the right video to share with you for today. So as we are starting now at the beginning, I would like to share with you one technique, which is a technique I like, which is called the heart mass technique. And what you do in that technique is you put your hand on your heart center and you focus on your breathing. So like as if in mindfulness, which helps us to become aware of ourselves. And I always like doing that because it helps me to refocus myself, and like mindfulness I used to do in the past, but what I did find is mindfulness is that I'm always not very patient, and I find this breathing technique quite good. So what you do in that heart mass technique, there's a lot of exercises, but I'll just share with you the one where you place your hand on your heart center and you basically focus on your breathing, and you breathe into your heart and you breathe out, sort of like so. Put your hand on your heart center and take a deep breath in and a breath out. And another one, take a deep breath in and take a deep breath out. And I've adapted this technique a little bit, and I kind of combine this with stepping. And so during, if some of us have the virus, it's the lungs which are mainly affected, and so boosting our lungs, boosting, sort of like this, how would I say, our immune system is really good for us. And also it can be quite good if you're actually suffering from the virus. One of my friends had that, and she used this technique, and she said it really helped her to bring her oxygen levels when the ambulance crew came to check on her next time. After they've been for once, they came again to check on her oxygen levels, and her oxygen levels went really up. So what you would do is imagine that there is a healing light in your lungs, and continue taking these deep breaths in. So focus on your breathing, breathe into your heart, and imagine this healing light which is inside your lungs. And we start tapping. So at the top of your head, this healing light inside my lungs. And continue taking deep breath in and out as you continue tapping on your next point. This healing light inside my lungs. My immune system is healthy. I've got a strong immune system. I have strong white blood cells. So this healing light inside my lungs. This healing light inside my lungs. I've got a strong immune system. I look after my health. I eat healthy foods. I take exercise. And enough sleep. I've got a strong and healthy immune system. Okay, so take a deep breath in. And this is something you can train yourself up to do. And in case you were to come down, hopefully you won't, but in case you were to come down with the virus, you can always imagine this healing light inside your lungs, and you can tap along. And you know, like if you don't have any energy, you can just imagine you know, your health, you know, your light going into the lungs and how it's healing your lungs. I always say that doing tapping anyway, so you know, just tapping daily basically helps you with your immune system. I think there were studies done where daily tapping improved the immune markers by something like 120%. So definitely, if you tap on a daily basis, as well as doing everything else like the exercise, you know, in getting enough sleep and healthy, you know, food, nutrition, if you tap along, it will definitely improve your immunity and, you know, your resilience to fight this virus, as well as it's also good to take extra supplements of vitamin C, zinc, and vitamin D. Of course, it's good to be in the sun, because the sun, you know, that's a natural way of getting the vitamin C. In one of my earlier videos, I shared with you a picture tapping technique, and that video is called EFT for nightmares. And in that video, I have shared my own nightmare, which I experienced then during October, and how you can use that to help you heal from your own nightmares, because our nightmares are part of our subconscious mind. But now I'm thinking back to October, and I'm actually quite shocked or quite surprised, or I said, oh my goodness, actually this dream I had all the way back in October was all about the coronavirus. Because if you look at that, in the first picture, I was stuck in this box and I was suffocating. I could not breathe, I couldn't take a breath. The next picture I've done was that I was drowning. And then I was doing a picture of the kind of nightmare itself. And then when I looked at it a few days ago, I said, oh my goodness, this is the coronavirus. That is the coronavirus. And then I've done a picture of this pink tulip, which kind of signified healing. And one of my friends who has come out of her 2 weeks isolation, the first thing she took a picture on her wall was a picture of this pink tulip. And again, I was thinking, oh my goodness, that was what I did. Then I did a picture of a star, healing star, for myself. I mean, I was like falling to it. I wasn't falling into the abyss, which used to be some of my previous nightmares and bad dreams, that I would be falling down, but I was actually falling into the arms of a beautiful star. And then the last thing which I did was healing the whole earth, the whole globe, and you know, all these stars around and the healing. And I said to myself, well, you know, I can't believe that. And you know, I used to be very ill. My immunity used to be really bad. I would succumb to something like 8 viral infections or colds per year. And then it would take me weeks and weeks, you know, before I got over it. And in 2003, when we had the SARS virus, I was really scared and really petrified. And luckily, that virus managed to be contained. But I used to be really scared. And, you know, nowadays, I can get by. I can live a normal life. I mean, there are days when I will be you know, I will panic and I will be a bit scared, and you know, but I'm actually managing to get by and I'm not scared. And that is something, you know, quite incredible. The power of EFT is quite amazing. So as I was, you know, like I thought that this time I would do a little bit more, show examples of a little bit more tapping from the picture tapping technique, which I did use to heal from the nightmare which I had, because it's really a good way of expressing how you are feeling. And it might be that you are feeling very overwhelmed. It might be that you're not really sure. You're not really sure, like, is this my fear or is it somebody else's fear? And sometimes we repress. We've all been taught to repress our feeling and not to know who we are. Many years ago, that's probably something like 14 or 15 years ago, I used to follow some program on TV. Well, actually it was online. It was Journey to Yourself, where various healers were posting videos, and I came across one lady there, and she was drawing. She was helping people with drawing pictures. She did this one picture for me. It was actually funny because I wasn't even there. It was my sister, who I did buy her as a birthday present, one of the workshops this lady was doing. So my sister went on this workshop, and then she went to see this lady, and she did a couple of pictures for me, and she said, oh, she did this picture, and in that picture, if you can see, she drew me, I'm not a whole person. And she said to my sister, well, you know, she never finishes anything. And then when I got this, I was kind of thinking, well, that's not true. I managed to finish secondary school, and I've done a degree. I've done it even when my children, you know, were still young, so I juggled quite a few things at that time. I've done it as a distance learning. And, I felt like, I completed a lot of things in my life, but there was one thing I have not completed, and that was a teacher training. I wanted to teach languages, and in the middle of the teacher training, I became too ill to kind of complete that. So when this lady said, like, I'm not a whole person, I never complete anything, I stopped, and it made me kind of angry. But then I started to think and said to myself, yes, she is right. I'm not a whole person, but not because I'm a failure, because I have not completed the teacher training course, but because I've been repressing my emotions the way I am all my life. And I did things, what other people wanted me to do, and I wasn't really myself. So, since then I did go to do a counseling course, and that's another thing I completed, but it was quite challenging for me because I would be quite ill through those times. It's helped me to start to connect with myself. If nothing else, as I said, I did complete the course, and then I realized, actually, I can't really do the counseling because I'm constantly ill. And if I'm constantly ill, it would not be ethical for me to go out there and help other people. And so, I then found EFT, which was part of the best thing I ever did, because I started to connect with myself. And I think that's one thing which, a lot of people now are possibly doing, connecting with ourselves. Because if you defined yourself by, doing things, by achieving and everything else, then when you're not if you're defining your self-worth by how much you achieve, then or by doing things, than when you're not doing anything. You know, sort of like, for example, now when we've got the lockdown and a lot of people are unable to go to work, then, you know, if I was defining myself by my achievements and by the things I do, I would suddenly feel, oh my God, what do I do now? Who am I? All this has been now taken away from me. So connecting with ourselves, you know, this is really a good time to do that, to connect with ourselves and, you know where we are, because a lot, you know, like I spoke to somebody the other day and they said to me, oh, it's such a shame because so many businesses have collapsed now and people lose their jobs, and of course that is heartbreaking, you know, for every one of us. But at the same time I said to this person, well, you know, these businesses would probably not survive anyway, and this is actually a good time to start to rethink, because like people would say, oh, let's go back to how things used to be, but actually that would not be the right approach, because how things used to be was not quite right. So actually it's a good thing for all of us to connect with ourselves. And so, as I said, as I would continue using the picture tapping technique, a good thing is for you to draw what is coming up for you, at the moment. And this is a picture which I drew myself, and it's this fear, and you know, like I kind of imagine this as a virus. And then once you do the picture, connect with it, and then you can start tapping. Even though I've got this picture, there is a lot of darkness, a lot of fear, a lot of suffering. I love and accept myself anyway. So even though I've got this picture and there is so much darkness, so much misery, so much suffering, I honor the way I feel. I honor my feelings. So after you've done the setup, then you just continue to keep tapping this picture and keep looking and see how it feels for you. This picture, this darkness, all this suffering, so much judgment out there, so many lies. I mean, how can we believe what we are being told? All this darkness, all this misery, all this blackness. Okay, so just tune in with yourself and see what is coming up for you. And then do another picture, like in the previous one which I've done about the nightmares. And keep evolving what is going on for you. So after me drawing that first picture, I have done another picture. And in that picture, there was actually some color. And I felt there is some hope, because out of the virus, there is new life coming. It's like there is new life. So, you know, even though there is so much misery and everything else, I connected to myself. And I said to myself, well, you know, all these years I've actually managed to heal, or I wouldn't say fully heal, but at least partially heal from a chronic illness I had for several decades, about 3 decades. And I'm not in such a dark place anymore. That was when I was then. But there are ways. You know, like one friend who sadly died from breast cancer, she said to me once, you know, I've learned that everything happens for a reason. So, you know, what kept coming up for me, you know, there is some reason behind that. There is a lot of learning for us. There is a lot of us, you know, connecting with us, you know, sort of like, you know, it's not the end of the world, you know, like, you know, when the virus first came out, I said to myself, well, if the worst things comes to worst, I have to die. But then I've accepted that, you know, sort of like you know, I thought about, you know, where am I in my life, and I thought, well, you know, I am actually on good terms with everybody. I love, you know, I send my healing to everybody. So, yeah, try that exercise. Try to see what the virus brings up for you, and, you know, keep tapping on what is going on. Another thing which I have done was I've done picture of these balloons, and because, you know, I was imagining letting go of all this fear, of all this worry, because the worry is actually, the fear and worry is in many respects more dangerous than the virus itself. And you know, I kind of, as I was stepping, I was imagining the balloons, you know, like going away, all the things which I don't really need. I'm going to release those balloons, but before I release them, I'm actually going to think, well, what is going on for me? What emotions are coming up for me during all these times? And there would be definitely a lot of fear, a lot of anger, a lot of anxiety, you know. And what you could also do is you can write down what that emotion is, and if new emotions come up, then continue kind of tapping on that. And then what you can do is you can take one thing at a time. Once you know what it is, or once you've done a few balloons and you've put down what that is, take them one at a time, because there's no way you can possibly tackle all of your issues at the same time. You might tap and things will come back. So what I then decided to do is take this balloon, that was my balloon of anger, and I was then drawing more about that. So there was this big orange ball, and also what came up for me was this kind of fire. And then I remembered all these fires we had in Australia. They've been, you know, worse than ever. And, you know, I was thinking, well, all this is actually coming together at the same time. So you take that one balloon, that one emotion, and try to tune into it and continue tapping on that. So even though I've got this big ball of anger, I love and accept myself anyway. Even though I've got this orange ball of anger, where is it? Inside your body, and it's right in my heart center. I love and accept myself anyway. Even though I've got this big orange ball of anger, I love and accept myself anyway. Okay, so just continue tapping. This orange ball anger in my heart. This orange ball of anger. And as I'm tapping, I can feel it moving up into my shoulders. So if that is if it keeps happening for you, that it moves somewhere else, then by all means change the position of where you are feeling it in your body. So this anger in my shoulders, this orange balls of anger in my shoulders, these orange balls of anger in my shoulders, this orange ball of anger in my shoulders, and it's just now going right into my throat, and I feel this tightness, this kind of being squeezed in my throat. So just continue tapping wherever you feel it. So I've got this anger in my throat, this tightness in my throat, this tightness in my throat. All this tightness in my throat. This remaining tightness in my throat, because at the moment it's getting less and less and less. So it's this remaining tightness in my throat. This remaining tightness in my throat. Small tightness in my throat. And actually now I feel it's like going, it's like just gone. So I see that orange ball of anger is now actually going. This orange ball of anger is just going up in the air. It's just going away. Just disappearing. It's just leaving all the other balloons now. It's just made a big bang. This crash just now popped. Oh, this balloon popped. That orange balloon popped. So if you take a deep breath into your heart, and as we've got Easter now, and I had Easter eggs. I found this. I thought that's from the Easter egg, a wrapper from the Easter egg. And I thought, well, let me do something. Once I pop these balls, let me put a golden ball. And maybe at the end, I will have loads of golden balloons, loads of golden healing balloons, because that is actually something you could kind of tap on. So we could tap on this gold of heart, this gold of heart. We want to attract more healing energy into our life, then we can just tap on that. So this gold, you can just tap on the color, you know, just this healing gold. This healing gold. This gold of heart, or this golden heart. This golden heart is healing my lungs. My heart is healing. my immune system is stronger. I'm coping well. And I look after myself. And I've got the right to take a break from the news. I've got a right to have me time. I don't have to do things, you know. Just this me time, and I look after myself, and my immune system is doing well. It's really good. It's really strong. Okay, so yeah, that's we're coming to the end of this video, and if you look after yourself, you'll be strengthening your immune system. You'll find also that you don't get triggered. You don't get triggered by the fact that a lot of the people at the moment are kind of fighting out with each other. It's only normal because we've got so many traumas inside ourselves. We keep them out of the way, kind of. We don't pay any attention. And now suddenly all that fear is around us, and a lot of us, are not doing much, and suddenly all that fear, is coming across us. So kind of, you'll find that become more connected with yourself, being present in the moment. You won't actually be getting yourself into any arguments. You won't worry if someone is breaking a rule and that person is not even breaking a rule, because we are allowed to go and do exercise, and it's still quite cold, but one of the exercises I love doing as we are coming more into the summer, I like going swimming. I like going swimming in the sea, but actually at the moment I would not be allowed to go swimming because there is police across the beach all the time. If someone sits down on the beach in Brighton just for a minute or two, police come and say, please move on, because you're not allowed to sit down, you're not allowed to congregate, and people are asked not to go swimming or surfing or whatever. So there were not many rules about what we are to, sort of the rules were not absolutely 100% clear. And what I would say is, look after yourself, strengthen your immune system, do go for your exercise, look after yourself. Also show kindness and compassion to others, because that is also bringing a lot of love and healing into your heart. So look after yourself, and thank you for watching, and look forward to you during my next video. Bye for now.